So technically, what I'm going to talk about is my experience and how I use Zoom for different type of teaching, especially the large class teaching and collaborative teaching. So you might also have some issues. So if you share with the audience, so probably we might be able to get some sort of idea how some of the things that you could handle. Right? So the problems that we have is totally different compared to any other country in the world. Right? So therefore, the issues that we handle could be slightly different if you think of the straightforward mechanism. Right. So today's session, this won't be very long session. It depends on your interaction. So the session could be a little dragged, but otherwise I'm basically going to talk about 4 different sections. That is how I managed to get student involvement in the discussion and how I did collaborative teaching with colleagues. So when I say colleagues, so those are my teaching assistants and fellow lecturers. And then just additional section I have added how to use breakout rooms. So those who are not so familiar with, I'm sure most of you are familiar with breakout rooms. And then how to do annotation and how to use whiteboard. So those are the main things that we are going to discuss. So throughout the session, I will be discussing how to do the configuration in different sections and what kind of hardware are possible for you to use in order to get things done. Right, so you can see numbers are more or less the same. So here we can see like who are the active ones and inactive ones, and also you might notice that the raised hand is a different gesture. When you do the raised hand, that won't count, but with raised hand you can have different other gesture as well. Right? So anyone else need any help, just let me know, right? And so most probably you might see different gestures, like apart from these ones, you will have like different reactions, maybe thumbs up and different ones, right? Right, okay, thank you. So I'll put it back. So remember that depending on the version you are using, this toolbar may appear in different places, right? Now, this is very, so I'm going to clear the voting. So you can start from the beginning. Now, this dress is very well-known dress. This was like a wedding dress supposed to wear by a mother. So the mother sent this particular photograph to the daughter. So daughter got angry. It's basically because of the color perception. It's different from one person to another. So if you see this one as a white and gold, please click yes button. And if you see it as a black and blue, click no button. So these are the kind of results. So like roughly about 27 says this is white and gold, and about 18 says it's black and blue. So it's basically perception, nothing wrong with the eyesight or anything, and there's no if I say like there's no kind of correct answer or anything. So it's basically one kind of interesting thing that I bring it up just to make use of this one. So you also can do similar things with your class. So this is one thing what I usually do is in order to get their attention. So when you ask the questions, and in the class even you can read the names those who are not responding, so that even if they went for any kind of break, they will come back and start answering, right? So you can read a few names. At that time, everybody will start giving the answers, right? So it's very normal, not 100% in the class will do that. So it's very normal. Even over here, it's about 45 out of 80. So it's like just above the 50%, right? So it's very normal in a classroom, right? So this is one thing that you can always do. So this is a screenshot of one of my classes. So I conducted maybe a few weeks ago. So these are like at the middle of that. So students start giving me answers, so that in my account, I can see like 4 different options. So if I need, I can make use of all 4 different options so that students can interact with me. Right? So those are the some of the things that you can nicely use. Let me clear my screen. You can use. Now let's do some interesting work. So now take your finger, the middle finger and the pointer close by, so that you have a slit in between, right? Now through this slit, look at your monitor or any bright object, maybe a window or a lamp, and tell me what you see. So do you see anything different when you look at through this slit? So you can use chat window. So you need to keep your hands like maybe 2 inches apart from your eye. So close the other eye and look at any bright object or window or something, or even monitor will do the job. Do you see anything interesting? Okay, so now let me add you a little bit. Now, when you look at through this the slit, do you see any vertical like gray lines? So where there's no any light. Do you see anything like vertical lines? You bring it closer to eye, and if you bring it a little bit away from your eye, you will see something. No? Right. Okay. Okay. So now, exactly. Right. Now, if anyone look at the chat window, you will realize what it is. Now, when you ask very open-ended question, we will like start telling different things because we don't know what to look at. So it's the same thing with the students. So if you ask very vague question like that, we don't know what to look at, and usually students, they don't respond. So that is basically now blood. So we don't respond to the whoever the teaching in the class. So that is very normal. So therefore, if you start with vague question, so that probably some students might answer because you facilitate them to engage with you in a one way or the other. So then when you narrow it down, you will see, okay, so this is what I wanted to show you. So this one is basically, I just took it from one of my optics classes. So this is called diffraction, and it's a kind of diffractometer, right? So don't worry about that. So when you see it, it is not because of your eyelashes, it is basically optics, right? So that is what I wanted to emphasize on you. One thing is, if you ask directly question like this, it's very easy students to interact with. So they need to choose 1 out of 2, or you can have like 3 or 4 options. The 4th option could be, I have no idea. That is also fine, so that we will get some kind of feedback from the students. But if you ask directly, what color is it? So people will start telling different colors, right? So this one, some says gold, some says brown, some says peach, or different colors you will hear, right? So, but when you have this ears, when you use this nonverbal feedbacks, you get quantified numbers. So that with that is very easy for you to do the work. So those who did your studies in US, you know the clickers, right? So clickers are everywhere. So when you ask the question, so students just press the click, whatever the number, they press it, right? The same over here, right? Right. So then let's, okay, there are a few questions, right? Although I click it, it did not work. Why is it? I'm not sure what the reason is that. These nonverbal, so these are called nonverbal reactions. Usually when you click it, it gets selected, and if you click it again, it will get deselected. So probably it might has happened, right? So I'm not sure what really happened there. Right. So now, so if those who want to enable this one, first thing is you need to go and log into the web portal, right? So since we are using the Zoom account, you can go there. So the URL is learn.zoom.lk, and then you can click this sign in button, right? So once you go there, so if you want, you can do it now if you are interested in, or and also don't worry. So I will share my slides as well as the video with you all, so that you can revisit at any time, right? So if you want, you can do it now also. So you just click sign in. So this is the Zoom system that we use from Learn. And there, once you log in, there are like a lot of things coming up. On your left, you will see different settings, different things to change: profile, meeting, webinar, recordings. And under settings, you need to change few things. And then under settings, you need to select this in meeting basics. So once you click it, you will be able to see different options like this. And so this one, so I'm going to expand right side section, right? So when I expand the right side section, so this is what I'm getting. And if you scroll down, you will see the option called nonverbal feedback, right? So that one you need to enable. So this you need to do from the settings, right? So this is the web portal. And then I recommend another thing, you can remove meeting reactions. So it's all right to have meeting reactions, but meeting reactions and nonverbal feedback both will come in the same section. So therefore my recommendation is switch off or disable meeting reactions and enable nonverbal feedback. So let me repeat the word. So what you need to do is you need to log into this web page, learn.zoom. I guess this is not LK, this is US, right? Sorry. So this one should be learn.zoom.us, United States, right? US. So there you need to log in, sign in here, and then you go to settings, and there under in meeting basics, you can find nonverbal feedback. Give me a second. So then you need to enable nonverbal feedbacks. So by default, this is not enabled in most of the cases. So therefore, if it is not enabled, you need to enable it, right? So once you enable it, whenever you create a meeting, you are getting this toolbar, right? So then again, so you have like 4 different options to choose from that. Basically, depending on the client version, you will get different options. So basically, all these 4 options are there. The more options will come to a different section, right? Now, if you want to really do a collaborative teaching, in my idea is that good to have 2 different monitors. One monitor that you share with your students, and another monitor to look at their activities, right? So the first option is you have your laptop and you can connect it to any of the monitors, whatever the monitor or monitor you have, you can easily connect it to the laptop. So that's the same configuration I have right now at my home. And then if you have like 2 computers, desktop and laptop, or 2 laptops, one is old and one is new, so you can use that, or you can use your main computer with a tab or mobile phone, right? So the first option, you just have only one Zoom session, you connect it there, and you extend your view to the separate monitor. In the other 3 options, you need to you can have like main Zoom session where you teach, and another Zoom session you log into the same Zoom account and have the same Zoom session. You are monitoring your students. So in the secondary device, you don't connect audio. So that is how you get rid of the echo coming back, right? So let me show you. So this is actually my setup. My laptop, and I have my old monitor. And you might notice here, there is something interesting here. So this one is basically, my laptop, it has a output called HDMI. And the old monitors, they always had this connector called VGA. So that I'm using some kind of converter. It is not so expensive one. So I'm just converting HDMI into this one, and so I put it here. So this monitor, I'm just looking at the students' activities, and this is the one I'm really using. to do my work, and this is my writing pad. So I will come to that later on. So any questions with regarding the hardware setup? You can send it in the chat window if you want. Yeah, it's kind of basic thing. In certain cases, so this becomes really handy. Right. So so this one basically from my university setup. So in the university, what I do is I bring my laptop, and then I have desktop there, so that my setup looks like this. So I have my laptop, that is my primary window, and this is my secondary one, the university desktop, right? So this is the secondary Zoom session. So if you look at this carefully, I have like two accounts. So Hiran Jayavira and Hiran Jayavira. I have logged into the same Zoom session using two different devices, and one device is totally muted, right? And the other one, the one I'm using, and I share screen using this one, right? And so, and also in the secondary window, these are the things I keep my participants list, so that I can get the count over here, and then I monitor the chat window, and then in the secondary session, I can even see what others are seen from this one. So when you have extended version, you don't have this one, but when you have two separate Zoom sessions, you can have this window also. So simply you can see what others are seeing, right? But what I wanted to emphasize is to have this one. There is a question, what about data usage for two? That is very good question. So as of now, you all know that there is no data charges as long as you use Zoom from the Learn, right? So therefore, right now you don't have issue, but later on, if you try to do that, probably the data usage should be doubled, right? So if it happens to use always, so most probably you need to, if the ISPs, internet service providers, they started charging you, good to have, like there are like different packages where you can purchase it. Once you purchase that particular package, you are giving large data bundle so that you can use it for the Zoom, right? So that kind of packages are there. Yeah, it's very good question you bring it to here. So if there is a data charge, that will be doubled basically, right? But you can reduce your data charge by removing the audio connection, so that only video is coming to your device, right? So roughly data charge will be doubled. Thank you. Right. So that is, then another thing what I do is I usually, when I teach, especially in the labs, I'm getting teaching assistants, or sometimes you call them demonstrators, tutors, instructors. So you are getting teaching assistants, right? So when you have teaching assistants, it's very nice when they are in the session, you can do a lot of things. You can share your responsibilities among them. Now, if you look at this carefully, so I'm using two devices here, and then I have two of my teaching assistants. So what I have done is I have made them co-hosts. So when I make them co-hosts, they have all the capabilities that I have. So in other words, they can do some of the work that I'm supposed to do. Now, for example, if you look at this carefully, in this particular class, Tevikum is taking care of the recording. So the advantage over here is that you know that once you record a video and you're supposed to upload that to the LMS, that could be a very large file. So every 20 minutes, you need to stop it. And also, those who are really interested in getting nice video, you need to edit video in such a way that you remove some of the sections that you don't need to include it, right? So having a TA there, when I ask a question, there will be a little bit of time for students to provide the answer. So that kind of time, he can post recording and then again resume recording. And also he can keep a track of my recording time, and then you can easily split. So when you stop recording and restart recording again, your file will be separated once you create the file. So that, for example, in our university, there is a file size limitation that is 50 megabyte. That's the maximum that you can upload. So similarly, Probably your institutes also, they have imposed certain bar on the maximum size. So my usual practice is that every 20 minutes I split it. So having a teaching assistant, he will take care of that. He will split the file in very logical time and remove like silences in the class. So he's simply pausing and redoing it. And also you can do some other things. For example, now at the moment I'm monitoring the chat window. Sometimes I might miss some of your questions. So especially when there are like a lot of questions came into the picture. So I asked Migara to, okay, Migara, can you look at the chat window? If there are any other question I didn't answer, you just ask it again, right? So students usually they don't ask questions, especially in audio mode. They just they're really good at sending messages to the chat window, right? So things like that, you can share some of the responsibilities with your friends, the colleagues. Then and also like especially if you are working with computers, any software or something that you want to deal with, so you can create a breakout room and send one of your teaching assistants and ask to fix it for that particular student or group of students, while you can continue the main session. Otherwise, in the main session, if you try to fix one of the students' computer, that will take very long time from the other students, which is not fair. So that you can, likewise, you can share some of the responsibilities. I will show you in worst case, if you don't have especially the TAs or one of your friends would like to share teaching with you, then one option is that you can make use of student teachers. That works always. So you can give some of the responsibility to the student teachers. Students, you can bring them and ask them to explain some of the sections. So meanwhile, you can bring one of the student and go to the breakout room and solve the problem of that particular student and come back, right? So things like that you can easily do. So in order to do that, you need to enable Cohost. Sometimes Cohost is enabled by default and sometimes it is not, right? Okay, this is another thing what I do. So here it's a screenshot from one of my TAs. So what this teaching assistant is doing, he's making the circuit using one of the software that he's using. So while he's drawing this circuit using the software, you can see this handwriting. So those are the annotations that I did on top of his work so that I can easily explain. So he's supposed to make 8 of these branches. So he has made 3 at the moment, and while he's making it, so I can do different calculations and show students, okay, these are the things that you need to do and how to do and different things, so that the same screen, you can do different activities at the same time. So that is another advantage. Right. So let's take a look at how to do that. So this one also the same mechanism. You need to first go to learn.zoom.us and there you sign in, and then you go to settings, and under meet in basics, you will see Cohost. Right? So if this is not enabled, you need to enable it. So once Cohost is enabled, so you can make any of them in the Cohost. So what you need to do is, so in this participants list, you can simply, you can see my participants list, right? Yes or no? You can click yes if you can see my participant list.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So you can simply right click here, and then you get different options, right? Make host, make co-host, allow to record, allow multi-pin, rename, and you get different options, right? Once you make co-host, basically, so it's asking, so I made someone like, okay, Samin Dani, I make co-host, so she has more or less the same control that I have, right? So if you want, you can remove it also, withdraw co-host function. There's a question, raise hand, Prasanna, any question? No, you just, okay, he's just trying it, okay, sorry, right? So then the co-host, once you enable it, you can always add, I think up to 50 co-hosts you can add if you want. Right. So any questions with regarding anything like adding co-hosts or doing any other type of activities with the students? it is kind of clear. So I'm jumping to another section. I'm sure most of you are aware of that, but let me just explain in layman terms what is meant by breakout room. Right? So in Zoom now, for example, right now we are in one main session, right? So we have audience and the host and co-host. And making breakout room, you can have like a separate sessions where there's no any communication between different rooms. So you can create breakout rooms. Now, for example, you create one breakout room and put some of your students there, and then let them to rearrange, and they can have their own discussion in that room. And also you can have a separate room. So they will rearrange in that room and they will start the discussion, and then you can have another room. So where they will start their own discussion. So now in this configuration, I have 3 different breakout rooms, and here I'm the host. If you have co-host, they will also be here. So if you want, you can assign any of your co-hosts to inside this room, and also you can jump to any of these classes and see what they are doing. Right? So it's basically the idea of co-host. Right? So do you have any questions with regarding the with regarding the breakout rooms? One thing is that when you are in the main session, you can't hear or see anything what is happening inside room 1 or 2 or 3. Right? So you can go up to I think 50 breakout rooms. So if you want to see it, you need to go there and join and come back, right? So I will show you how to enable breakout rooms. So first of all, can you please show how to? Yes, that's what I'm going to do. So first of all, you need to do the configuration, right? So that is that you need to do from the web portal where you go learn.zoom.us, and then you go settings, and under settings, if you search for breakout room, you will see it, and you need to enable that. Right? And then you need to put this tick also on, allow host to assign participant to the breakout room when scheduled. Right? So when scheduling, that means, for example, when I'm scheduling this particular meeting, I should be able to assign users, but only I don't recommend you to use this one. Some of students might not have Zoom account. So in that case, it's a difficult thing. So it's all right to have this one, but I will tell you what to do. So basically what you need to do is, first of all, you need to do the configuration. Configuration we do with that web portal, and from that you enable the class, this one, right? Then once you do that, and after that you can start a meeting. So let me show you my meeting controls. Okay, so in your meeting controls, so you will see this kind of bar, and depending on things that you have enabled, you will be able to see this icon with 4 squares. That is what we call breakout room, right? So yeah, so there is a question, please explain how to do annotation. I have separate session on that, right? So I'm coming to that. Next session is on annotation, right? So in the breakout rooms, once you enable it, you will get a dialog box like this. So this is basically, okay, so that is, okay, there's a question, maybe I missed that. So what is the advantage in breakout classes than the normal class? So the advantage of breakout room is that when you have a main session, you just do your class, the whole class, right? But let's say you want to do some kind of debate. For example, you need to have 3 different groups to do a debate. So then you need to give some kind of time for your students to prepare for that. So you create a few rooms, but it is in the main session. Anytime you can take them to the main session. So you ask him, okay, I will give you 30 minutes. You go to these breakout rooms and prepare yourself. So then they can internally have a discussion and come up with some kind of rationale for their debate. Or else you can have other options like let's say you want to have a group project, so that group presentation. So then you create a few breakout rooms and ask them to prepare, and after that you bring every student to the main session and you do it, right? There's another question came, I will answer it shortly, right? Okay. So you enable the breakout rooms from the web portal. After that, you are getting this icon. So what you need to do is you need to click this icon. So once you click it, you will get a dialog box like create breakout rooms. So this is kind of interesting one. So there are like 3 different options. So you can decide how many breakout rooms you need. So as I remember, you can go up to 50 rooms. I don't exactly remember the number. It is 50 or 100, right? So you can decide how many rooms you need. And then you can have options assigned automatically, assigned manually. Let participants to choose the room, right? So if you select the first one, all your audience will be divided into 4 and will be assigned to 4 different rooms automatically. Then if you select assign manually, then you have the option to select them and let participants choose the room so that they can go and select to any of the rooms, right? So those are the 3 different options, out of which the second one requires little bit more configuration, right? So if you select the second one, you will get another dialog box like this, right? So there's one thing that I want to show you. So although here it says 4, this screenshot is taken from the breakout room that was created for 2, right? So there are only 2 rooms. So if you actually created 4, you need to have 4 breakout rooms here, right? And also the names of the rooms you can change at any time. So once you do that, there is a if you hover on over here, there's a sign. When you go there, you can see list of names. So this one is screenshot actually I took from the web, and the names are from kind of English names. So I just remove them here. So you can select them and assign to the class. And group 2, you can assign in the same way. Unassigned one will appear here so that you can assign them. Then what happens is that, this diagram, the new dialog box came here. It's not exactly the same. So here you have 4 different rooms, right? So it's a different dialog box. So if you have if you assign your students to the room, then at any time, you can go and join to any of these rooms. So there's a join button. So you can go and click yes, you will join to room number 1, right? So, and also you can always come back from the breakout room. So when you come back, you will go back to the original session. And then there are few things that you need to configure. This is important. So those options, you can get them by clicking this option button, right? So here what you see is, once you click the option button, these are the things that will appear. So here you have option, move all participants into breakout rooms automatically. So make sure that you enable this one. Otherwise, students can stay still in the main session. So once you do that, automatically they will go to the room, so they don't have any choice. So then enable this one, allow participant return to the main session at any time. So if they wanted to get any help or anything, they can come back to the main session at any time, so that you or one of your hosts will be in the main session, so that you can provide any support they need. And then if you want, if you want to assign breakout rooms for 30 seconds or 1 hour, you can have this one, enable this one, so that automatically breakout rooms will be closed and everybody will be back in the class. Let's say you want to 5-minute one, you put 5 minutes here and do it. Then you can enable the bottom one also, count down after closing the breakout room. Actually what happens is that this is it will say that okay, in 60 seconds you will be moved to main session, right? So likewise there will be a down count. So those are the nice configurations that you can do. So the first one is kind of required one, move all participants to the breakout rooms automatically. Otherwise, they have the choice not to jump to the breakout room. Okay, that's basically it about the breakout room. So any questions with regard to that? Okay, I have answered your question. Right. So let me jump to the next section. Next one is how to use annotation and whiteboard, right? Before moving to annotations and whiteboard, let me tell you different options that you can use in order to do annotation. One option is you can use mouse and do it. Yeah, that is one option, of course, but I mean, it's not the best option. So you can use this kind of hardware. So this is what we call pen tablet. So it's a USB or Bluetooth device. You connect your computer, and then you have pen, stylus. From that you can write it. Or then there are like little bit expensive ones. The functionality is the same, but what you see here is exactly the screen what you see in the monitor. You can directly take this pen and write on top of that. So it's a second type. So both pen tablets and pen displays, you need to have a kind of computer. You connect it to the computer and use it. And pen tab. Then you have other options. If you have like a very kind of fancy phone like Galaxy Note, so you can use this built-in stylus. So from that you can annotate on top of that. And if you have a tablet with kind of stylus or iPad, basically they support this Apple Pencil, very expensive items, but when you have it, it's really handy. And also you can have option if you have a convertible like this, comes with the stylus. So there are like two different types of stylus. So the stylus should be very, should come with very fine head, right? So if you look at here, the tip is very fine. So the stylus should be like, comes with a very fine head. Otherwise, typical touchpad ones might not help you in most of the cases. Right. So as I mentioned earlier, if you are using pen tablets, it's like this. So this one is basically Bluetooth one, or else you can have like little cheaper one with USB. You connect it to the computer like this. So you don't have anything. You look at the monitor and do it when you have a pen tablet like this. So if you have pen display, it is kind of, there's no any learning curve. So what you see here is what you see there. So this section is put to the pen tablet, and you just write on top of that, just like you are writing using a paper. So there are like, so personally, I prefer pen tablets. One is the form factor, it's very small. The one I'm using, it's kind of smaller than exercise book. They're cheap, of course. And one drawback is that you need to spend a little bit of time to learn how to do that. For some people, it's very fast. You can learn it really fast how to use it. And for some people, it takes a bit of time to learn it. And there are two main companies who produce these pen tablets, Wacom and Eon. The one I'm using is Wacom Intuos S. That's the cheapest one from Wacom. And Eon is a Chinese company. They produce a lot of devices. So I just took a screenshot a few weeks ago from Daras. So these are like different Eon pen tablets available, different sizes. They're kind of cheap. And one thing you need to notice here is that there's a keyword. So if you look at pen tablet battery free, right? So your pen, so there are like different types of pens. So there are like a stylus or the pens comes with batteries, and there are battery free ones. So when your stylus comes with a battery, you know that it's heavy. So it's kind of difficult to use it. So the battery-free ones are much better compared to devices comes with battery. So then there are like different options. So if you are doing artistic work, so if you want to feel like when you're using brush, the tilting is one of the features. There are like different options available. You can decide depending on your budget as well. And so this is from Daras. Daras is also a partner with Wacom Sri Lanka also. They have Wacom tablets. So this is directly from Wacom Sri Lanka website. So this is the cheapest one they have. The one I'm using at the moment is like 21,500. So this one is kind of nice device. So good to have this kind of hardware if you really want to do any serious annotation, right? Right. So provided that you have any hardware, if you don't have any hardware, still you can do with your touch screen or with your mouse, right? So from this top window, so I'm sure you can see this toolbar. Usually people can't see it. I just enable this one so that you can see it. So when you click this one, you will get toolbar like this, right? Annotation toolbar. So this is my real toolbar. I'll put it at the bottom. So if you select this annotate, you will get this annotation toolbar. So when you get this one, you have like plenty of options to select, right? And in this session, actually, I have enable you to do annotation. Actually, you can take your pen and draw it here. Now, for example, if I take, this is my toolbar. So if I take this one, I can write anything. Right? I can change my color. Right? And there are like different options. So when you go draw, and if you select this one, it's for the squares. This one is transparent squares. This one is solid squares. So there are like different options. So you can draw. And this is transparent square. And you can have solid ones. So once you do with solid ones, you don't see the other side, right? And you can change the color. And then you have eraser if you want to erase few things. You can do it. Or else if you want, you can clear everything. That's option. So if you select this clear one, clear all drawing, or clear my drawing, or clear viewer's drawing. So I can do the same. So these are like drawings. Those are not really I did. Those are viewer's drawings. So if I want, I can clear them. So then I can clear all if you want. And then there are like a few other options comes with this. If you want to, yeah, you can try. You can write anything on this. There are like different things like stamps. If you want to put like this. Those are kind of nice if you want to annotate. If your student is doing the presentation, you can annotate. And one interesting thing you can find here is that since you are a participant, you don't get everything over here. If you go spotlight function, you don't get, but you get this arrow, right? So with this arrow, you can show different places. Okay, look at here. So there's an issue with this one, right? So you can have this one. So as you go and click, you can put it there. So can everyone try this one? Arrows. There is a question, is that pen tablets compatible with Mac? Yes, most of the pen tablets are compatible with Macs. Wacom are for sure, and Heons are also for sure works. But there are some other things also, but you need to look at for that. Heon ones, usually you don't need to have drivers. They basically recognize by its own. Wacom ones are very stable ones, Japanese device. So of course, yes, you have whatever things that you need. They are compatible with Mac. And also you can select some of the things, right? So if I want to select this one, I can move this. It's a select tool. And if you want to go back to normal options, you need to go to mouse, right? Otherwise it will not work as a mouse. Okay, there are like nice comments coming from my toolbar doesn't have annotation button. Okay, I'll see that. Heon is compatible with Mac. I use Heon. Okay, so then one problem solved. Right. So my toolbar does not. So what you need to do is you go top and probably you will see annotate. If you don't see it, just go and see more button. Under more, you will see annotate. Go more, because if your screen is kind of shrink, your resolution is lower, you can't see most of the controls, so that you will see over here. And you can see one interesting thing here now. So in this menu, you have option this disable annotation from others. So when you do that, others can't annotate on my screen. So your students can't annotate on your screen if you do that. And note that, so this annotation is not really you do it on my slide, right? You do it on a transparent screen. So let me go to the next slide. So annotation, they will be there, right? So whatever the slide I'm moving, so annotations will be there. Right? So if you want to clear them, you can clear it. Otherwise, annotations, they will be there. So let me clear all your annotation. So this annotation toolbar, nobody will see that. So I have specifically enabled this one just to show you. So I'm going to the next slide. Okay, another thing, when you share your screen, there are few options, right? So when you try to share your screen, one option is you can share your screen as it is. So what you see is what your students see in that case. Or else you can share one particular software. Now, if you use share one particular software and if it is giving different dialog boxes, most probably others won't see it. So therefore, one good option is to use this share screen button. So once you do that, everyone will see what you see on the shared screen. So if you have two screens attached to your device, you will see screen 1 and screen 2, and it will show you what your screen 1 and what your screen 2. Right, so this is basically when you do the sharing, and then the whiteboard is basically so it doesn't matter whether you have PowerPoint or anything. Whatever you have on the screen, you can annotate on top of that, right? And whiteboard, when you try to share it, whiteboard is another option comes in. So when you use whiteboard, it is just like your whiteboard. It's all the annotation tools that you can use it. So right, and when you use whiteboard, there are interesting things available. So you will see something like this. So that is the new page. So you can have like a flip chart. You can have many whiteboards, and you can navigate through them. So let me share my screen as a whiteboard now. Can you see this share screen dialog box?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can see like screen 1 and 2, right? So in the screen 2, I'm looking at what are the coming in the chat window, and this one, and screen 2 is the one I'm doing it. So I'm going to share with the whiteboard now. Right. So the whiteboard is basically nothing, just a white screen. So you can use any of the annotation tools available. So you can do it anything you wish. Right. And one thing over here is that I'm not sure whether you can see this new button. So you can have new slide. So let me change the color and write something over there. Right, so I'll take another new one. Change color to green. Right. So now one thing you can do is you can always navigate. So you can go back and navigate here, and in any of the slides you can do the annotation, and also you can save these slides. There's option save. You can save it as a PNG or PDF image file or portable document format. Any of those you can select it. So there's nothing interesting with the whiteboard. So if you want to teach something else from your board, you can do it. The same like annotation, but you can save them as images if you want. So going back to my original presentation. Right. Okay, there is a question how to get whiteboard shared. Okay, so this is what you need to do. You need to go for this new share. And when you do that, you get option to select whiteboard. Right? You select whiteboard. So once you do that, you get the whiteboard. So this is basically my last slide. So there are like other options. So if you don't have pen tablet, there are a few other options you can do. This one is actually, I took it from web. So it's a teacher from India. So you might recognize this is the glass from a refrigerator. So if you have a clear glass, that will do a much better job. So you put your Zoom session here, and at the bottom you have your pen and your documents. You can do it. And this is actually my own setup that I used a while ago when I didn't have the pen tablet. So you take a stack of books and you put your phone in between those books, and here you can write anything, right? So let me show you. So this is actually available in YouTube. So let me show you. Have there. So you can nicely see things in the document, and also if you have printed ones, it's kind of very easy, or pre-prepared ones, you can switch them and do anything on top of that, right? And one nice thing about this is when you have your mobile phone, they have really nice cameras compared to the web camera available in your computers attached to the computer, right? So these cameras are really nice. So that is one good advantage that you have. Right. Okay, so basically that's it. Okay, there is a question how to use advanced screen share options. Okay, so there are, okay, a good question. So let me show you what are the advanced share options available. So when you try to share your screen, if you go to advanced, there are like nice options available. One of them is content from second camera. So basically you have your primary camera, and if you attach kind of if you attach your secondary camera, USB camera, you can share it. If you have document camera or something like that, you can share it using this one. The second option is music or computer sound only. That one, when you share it with that, basically whatever the sounds generated from the computer will be transferred. Portion of the screen, I have never used this one, so most probably I can share part of my screen. So when I do it, most probably I can select a section of this one. And the first option is PowerPoint as virtual background. So you know that there is an option you can use virtual background, and also you can use your slideshow as your virtual background. On inside the slideshow you can see yourself. So that is that thing that you have with the PowerPoint as virtual background. And under basic, if you have Apple device, you can share whatever you see in the Apple device to this one. In order to do this one, you need to have in the same network. So if you have Wi-Fi connection, you connect it to the same device, you will see your Apple device. From that, you can cast it. There's another question. How do you show YouTube videos on a session? Yeah, that's a very good question. So if you want to share YouTube video, if you want to share YouTube video, any other video, one thing is that you need to do is from here, you need to select your audio. Right? Let me take a website. This option, share computer sound. So if you click these three buttons, you have option called share computer sound. When you click this one, from the toolbar, from this toolbar, this is right. It is not right. So this one is your microphone. It's not your computer audio. If you want to share your computer audio, you need to do share computer sound. Right. So when you do that, you can play any video and do it. Okay, let me see. How do you share YouTube video in session? I have tried with the stack of books, but I could not get the orientation right. It was the wrong way up. Right. Okay, there is a question from the chat window. What it says is like, I have tried with the book stack, but the orientation was not correct. So it's probably tilted by 90 degrees, right? That, of course, from the camera settings from the mobile phone, you can do it. In Zoom, the camera controls are not so easier. So this video, actually, I just recorded this video from my mobile phone and just uploaded it. I have never used camera with the Zoom. So for that, I don't have the answer. I'm pretty sure there will be options you can rotate. So in Android phones, there is option you can change the orientation. You can lock it to portrait mode, or you can let it to be set by its own. So then you just tilt it and put it there. With Android, of course, with Apple devices, you have like a orientation lock. So you can release the lock and take it. There are facilities for 2 meetings at the same time, isn't it? Yes, there is an option. You can enable it. Let me go to. Right, so this is the portal. Once you go there inside settings, scroll down. I remember it's the final option you had. I can't find it right now, but it was there for sure. I have seen like there is a setting says like allow to join several devices. So that you can connect to 2 different Zoom meetings at the same time. Sorry, I can't find it now, but it was there for sure. Any other questions?
Yeah, shall I ask the one question?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, when I join the Zoom, it asks to sign in. So
Yes.
normally, why is that sign in?
I just enable that only for the authorized users. There is an option so that unless you sign in with the Zoom account, you can't log in there.
But I tried to Zoom account, I couldn't. Then I signed to Google.
Okay, so that is, I'm not sure what the issue is. I have faced that previously also. So basically you log in with your personal account, right? So basically that option, I think the way that Learn created account is that the email, they change slightly. For example, my email is hiran@phys.cmb.ac.lk, but in Zoom, my email account is hiran.phys. So probably that you need to bring it there. So it's basically the configuration issue from Learn. Right?
Yeah, which is a good one. Signing through this account or asking the students to register.
Yes.
Which is good.
Yeah. There's another question. When you use two devices, although we keep one muted, when the student responds, the sound will come from the both. Then yeah, it's disturbing. So one thing you can do is you can remove audio from one device. So you don't need to connect audio from the both devices. So the question is basically when you have two devices close by, if student is asking question, both devices will ask the question, right? So if you don't mute audio, one thing is from here you can remove audio from one device, leave compute audio. So if you do that, there's no any audio connection between that device and the meeting. So you are only seeing the visual only. So in that case, what you will see here is, now for example here, there's no anybody is doing that. So if you don't connect audio, you don't see this microphone button, but you will see the camera only. Right? So that option is always there. When we are use advanced options, share my presentation. Okay, so there is a question when we use advanced sharing options. So probably you put your background, your presentation, and do it. Those are, I think, the animation does not work. I'm sure it might not work. So if you look at this one, it says beta, right? It doesn't say as beta. Yeah, it says beta here, right? So those are like under kind of they're trying to develop this one, right? So that could be the reason. But if you are just using PowerPoint and if you do the recording, you can do it very easily. If you want to bring yourself there, if you start like record slide, if you do this, I will share the other screen, right? So it comes to my other screen. When you try to record this one, then there are options from here. You can enable now the camera. So if I want, I can enable my camera. So this one I can close it if I want, or I can put it there. So that option is there, but the other one I have never used, so I have just seen it. Sorry. Any other questions? Right. So apparently we don't have any more questions. I have a link to the last week's session also. We will share that link also. Today's one also I will upload it and share it. And all my slides I will share with you, right? So
hello. Okay.
Hello.
Yes. Can I ask a question?
Can I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Yes, can we join two Zoom sessions simultaneously using same device?
Same device.
Yes.
Yes, there is a setting that you need to enable. So I
Can
have done it, but that option is there. From the settings, you can do it so that, yeah, I'm not sure how it handles. So probably when you answer to one, other one will be maybe muted or something would happen. Right? That option is there, but I have never used it.
Okay, thank you.